It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. It is Monday, November 3rd. Scotty Swingler's here riding shotgun. We are ready to give you all the freshest takes and the newest insight on the World Series. College football coaches getting fired. The NFL. Cowboys play tonight, Monday Night Football. 92nd appointment for the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, most all time by any NFL franchise. Not too surprising there. That stat courtesy of our boy Chris Visser. Visser also sets us up with Steve Beuerlein, who we're talking to at 10:30. Beuerlein, of course, former Cowboys quarterback. He's calling that Monday night game for Compass Media tonight on national radio. And, you know, it's like, where do we start? I got to start with Game 7. I hate to be retroactive. I like to talk about what's first and foremost, but this is first and foremost. That was one of the most amazing games I have ever seen. And you're talking to a young man who, in October of 1986, I had a sleepover with Jesse Shute and TJ Sack. And we were all, Jesse and I in particular, bandwagon Mets fans. I loved Gary Carter and he loved Darryl Strawberry. And we were hardcore, but those losers fell asleep. And I finished watching that miracle in Game 6. And that, to me, that moment, everything about that, the fact that I like stayed up late and was watching and saw that history produced, I'll probably always rank that as my number one. But boy, this is not far behind that. I mean, first of all, the Ohtani stuff, right? By the way, we're presented by Slovakics. Don't forget about Socorro Family Ford, First National Bank of Central Texas, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, and Crawford Austin Properties. I just got to do a drive-by for our sponsors right now because there's so much to get to. The Shohei Ohtani stuff, let me speak from my experience, okay? This would be, in my opinion, this would be if Tom Brady was playing middle linebacker for the Patriots and like doing it very well. I still don't think, because baseball has lost some of its momentum, really, right? And I think as baseball fans, we've lost some of our zest. But this is the most amazing accomplishment of maybe any athlete, truly. And I think it really hit me watching the game when Ohtani was coming out. You know, he would get stranded at third base, and his warm-up situation, you know, they would come back from break and Joe Davis and John Smoltz would reveal to us, hey, it's been 3 minutes and you're looking at Shohei Ohtani's first warm-up pitch. And then they brought in that poor guy, the rules analyst, who is still a major league ump in his 25th year. And it felt like that guy was being held hostage when they were going, because they were basically like, hey, why? And I thought they did a terrific job, but they were pressing him, hey, why does Ohtani get all this extra time to warm up? And the guy really, he wasn't necessarily smooth and he didn't look comfortable, but he just tried to convey to them, like, basically like, look, man, this is crap we have never seen before in our lives. And honestly, we don't know what the hell we're doing either. Like, the umpires don't. Nobody knows how to handle this guy. He gets stranded at third and he's taken 45 minutes to warm up. You know, the Blue Jays manager, John Schneider, is yelling at the umps. And everybody's favorite thing to say now is, what are we doing? I think I saw that 15 times reading mouths this weekend, whether it's a coach, a player, a fan. There's a lot of, what are we doing? Oh, and then you get, there's a lot of, what are we even doing? There's the what are we even gets thrown in there, which adds a little more punch. But yeah, I mean, that was a window into the fact that this guy is basically, it's almost like when Wilt Chamberlain used to run and take off at the free throw line and glide to dunk his free throw opportunities. And they were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. You know, like, this guy is going to have to stand still at the free throw line. And if he wants to do, you know, what would later be the Patsy Weber from between his legs or however, like, figure it out, but you can't run and lay it up. And we're seeing, like, Ohtani's really changing the rules before our eyes. You know, he obviously doesn't finish the game. The one thing I will mention about one of my love affairs with this seventh game was Dave Roberts, the manager for the Dodgers, who, you know, in a world where it's analytics. Well, guess what, dude? A manager used some feel and his gut instinct to win a World Series. And I thought that was pretty awesome. The guy Yamamoto winning 2 games, 6-7, first guy ever to do that since Randy Johnson in that epic 2001 World Series. Who was the guy? I'll look it up right now. Who hit the home run? He's had 2 extra base hits in the postseason, in like 58 postseason at bats. And he hits the home run to give him the lead. Let me look up. Who was that? I got to get that right. Any help here, Scotty? I mean, you do everything else around here. You do, really. I'm not lying.
Sorry, I was I was Googling something else, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Gosh darn it. It wasn't Guerrero, obviously. He's on the other team. Anyways, we'll get to it. But you know, Will Smith was the guy who hit the game, the home run that put him ahead. But I'm looking for my man who
the ninth hitter. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. The guy who basically, again, Dave Roberts using his feel. While Scotty looks that up, I will tell you, midway through the game, I was
Miguel Rojas.
Miguel Rojas. Thank you, Chris Visser too. But midway through the game, as a Phillies fan, I mentioned when I was a Mets fan. I don't have shame over it, but I was definitely a bandwagon fan. There was something about the '86 Mets we can all admit that was amazing. But I did remember midway through that game, like, oh, wait a minute, I don't like this feeling at all, because I remember when Joe Carter hit that walk-off in '93 against my Phillies, right? Off my man Mitch Williams, that was like real heartbreak hotel for me. But the World Series really delivered. Joe Davis did an unbelievable job. I like John Smoltz. People say he talks a lot. I am the baseball fan that actually appreciates that talking, because I feel very informed when I'm listening to John Smoltz. I think both those guys did a terrific job. If there was one little wrinkle, and you really can't analyze a guy like Joe Davis's performance because he is elite, the best of the best, right? We would all be lucky to be in a situation to have the liberty to make a call like he made on some of those amazing home run calls. But like some of the home run calls early, especially obviously for the Blue Jays, you could not hear him. You could not hear him. It was so loud. It was so loud in that building, which is so cool. He may have been better served as just being like deep drive and then just waiting for everybody to cool off, because you legit could not hear him. But that was super awesome, man. It was just a real nice cherry on top for Major League Baseball. You had the 18-game extra innings. We had Steve Lyons on last week, and he talked with us about the Dodgers. And just look, it's also fun to watch greatness, and the Dodgers are greatness. Shohei Ohtani is a straight-up unicorn.
Yep.
And I don't know that we'll ever really appreciate Ohtani and what he did. Scotty, anything on that effort? Anything on Ohtani, or
I mean, if you watch the other show I produce, I sometimes talk a little mess about that. I don't watch a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
And
the Matt Mosley
but
show.
Yeah, we can say that, I guess. But I said I watched the entire Game 7. It was thrilling at the beginning and end, and got a little dry in the middle.
Yeah.
But so delightful at the end. That's why we love sports. And I would say baseball, and I feel this way about NBA basketball too, to a lesser extent. When it is playoff time, got to have it, baseball, especially in Game 7 of a World Series. And there are no holds barred. We're throwing in every starting pitcher. We've got to get one batter. We're subbing pinch runners and center fielders, and those dudes collide in the outfield, and the guy still comes down with the baseball. And you throw a guy here. Can I throw up this picture?
Put the picture. This is the picture that Visser sent. Visser sent it to me. But this is how close, right?
You throw this guy out at home plate, the winning run by this much. And those that didn't watch, catcher's foot comes off the plate, and this is the moment it gets back on the plate as the dude is sliding in. I mean, just a blast. I don't care what kind of sports fan you are. It was delightful, and I'm glad I watched.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think baseball is such a statistics-driven sport. People obsess over the numbers, and Shohei has not had a long career, but I think he's already making a claim, and has a claim that you could argue he's the best player to ever play the sport, just because he is so dominant at the plate.
Yeah.
So dominant. And then I know he didn't pitch particularly well in Game 7, and he got
3
pulled.
days rest, dude.
Well, and that's just the thing.
Which I love.
That's just the thing.
Good for Dave Roberts. I love that.
I can't hold that against him. And the fact is, they trotted him out there because he is the best guy they've got. And it's really remarkable for him to do that. And then, of course, I told you, Baylor Bear, Max Muncy, third ring with the Dodgers, hit a home run to get to within one run there in the 8th inning. Love that for him. So yeah, it was fun, man. Baseball, there's some truth to this, Pete. Baseball is a romantic sport.
It is.
It is truly
It
romantic.
is, yes, it's a love affair that lasts from the spring throughout summer. It's
Or if you're like
rocking
me,
chair.
just in the playoffs in Game 7 of the World Series.
But
when
there's
you-
a rhythm to it. If
Yeah.
you go to every game or watch every game, so that was cool. Hold on, don't go anywhere, and we can't make this too long, but because we got Beuerlein coming up at 10:30, and I want to talk about other stuff. Yo, Dave Aranda,
Oh,
okay,
God.
Baylor. This we didn't. I didn't see this coming.
Me
I
either.
didn't see the drubbing coming.
No.
I want you to give me your flat out, fresh perspective. What did you make of that performance and what that means for the future of the program? And I'm going to hold you to a finite amount of time here, but
You're right. I can talk too long about
no. I'm just saying we have so much to get to. It's for me. I would love to hear it, but we do have to get to other stuff.
It doesn't mean anything for the future of the program. I mean, if you lose the next 3 games, you're 5-7. We're in the same situation we were in last week. UCF's the worst team. You should beat them. I think what is so frustrating, Pete, is all season Baylor's issue was they didn't look like they were ready to play football till the second half. And against good teams, it got them beat. And this was the opposite.
Yeah.
Baylor actually kind of slowed down and I would say played more poorly as the game went on. But they went up on a 14-0 lead right out of the gate. And only gave up 3 points to UCF because they turned the ball over at the end of the first half. Otherwise, this defense would have shut them out. And I think it's just agonizing because, like, why did it take until game 9 to start a game that way, right? I mean, you didn't even start against Samford that way. So
have you talked at all on Please Bear With Me, your show last night?
Yeah.
With Terrence Ganaway, former Baylor great.
All-time Baylor great.
Yeah. Where you guys discuss like the defense and how the defense played better?
We did. And again, I think it was mostly just a frustration of what took – this is game 9, Pete.
Yeah.
It's not like, why weren't we ready to play like this? I can understand if Auburn comes out and hits you in the mouth. Like, sure.
Yeah.
But like –
and their coach just got fired.
But like, yeah, correct. But like this defense didn't look like this against Samford.
No.
Like
So,
they didn't play this well. So it's like, what? It's just too little too late, I think, for most people. And
I think I sent Mosley, you, and Cam a picture of Wayne Fonts.
You did.
I believe Dave is doing his best Wayne Fonts impression, and now here we go again.
I mean, they
beat Utah, which would be crazy, but it is a home game.
There's no shot. And
there's a shot.
No,
there's a shot.
No.
With this offense, there's always a shot. That's my whole thing. Like
I got to see it more than one. Here's the thing. This week was an anomaly of the season. It was not the standard. It was like the exception that proves the rule. So yeah, if they come out and do that against Utah, we're having a different conversation. But right now, I'm like, UCF is not that good. Utah just beat the brakes off the team that beat the brakes off of you. So and you came off a bye against TCU and looked lost. So there's got to be I got to see something completely different than I've seen before.
Utah wins 45-14 over Cincinnati. That's unbelievable.
Yep.
And Texas Tech takes care of business against Kansas State on the road, which it's funny.
By the way, largely on the backs of their defense too.
Yes. Well, they're Texas Tech. At some point, everybody's going to realize, like, dude, these guys got horses. And
Jacob Rodriguez is the truth.
Woo! And one scary part about this Texas Tech team is that, look, man, in the preseason, we would talk about, okay, you have this collective group of guys coming together for the first time. Now, obviously, they're phenomenal players, and Shahan wrote that amazing story about all the arms race in the Big 12 and college football, and how Texas Tech scored all this amazing weaponry in the offseason, whether it was through the transfer portal or recruits that have come in. And now these guys have synergy. They played together for a while now. So why, at this point in the season, would they not only get better, which was my hunch going into that game against Kansas State?
Yeah.
And of course, it might take a minute on the road. And good for those fans at Kansas State. You couldn't find an empty seat in that place.
It's a great football environment Bill Snyder built there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Unbelievable. But so now we've got game day again. Texas Tech and BYU. That's going to be in Lubbock. And look, we love our BYU Cougars here. I believe. Let me see what that spread is right now. I think it's like 10 points.
I'm going to tell you what's so exciting for me about this game, Pete. Everything you're saying about Texas Tech and they're just now gelling and finding their rhythm, it's also true about BYU.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this quarterback transferred in over the summer. You think that they're not also on the same kind of like growth trajectory of figuring it out and improving week by week? Like these are two teams that are peaking and playing their best football right now.
A 10.5 point spread right now.
That's absurd.
I don't think it is. I mean,
yes, it is. I might put money on BYU today. That's absurd.
Look, I think that is a tip of the cap and the reverence to the absolute horsepower that they have in Lubbock.
Yeah, but they don't get to. But they don't get to throw the tortillas this time.
They better not throw the tortillas.
They don't get to. They made it illegal apparently.
AD
said no more tortillas.
First time a Big 12 game is going to be on ABC. A regular season Big 12 game
Thank
on
God.
ABC since 2022, I think.
Let's go.
It's 8 versus 9. Obviously, we mentioned College Game Day will be there.
Yeah.
I don't know where Big Noon Kickoff's going to be, but I guess they won't be there too. I mean, it's such a big game. You could see both of those going. Obviously, Texas Tech with the one loss, right?
Dude, if Lubbock wasn't so dadgum far from Waco, I'd be tempted to drive up there.
Dude, do you know that the 365 guys are supposed to do a live show from there?
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm pretty sure that Smoke, Catalina, and the gang are going out there to Lubbock for the Rogue Media Network.
That's great.
To do a live show from out there.
Good.
So that's props to them.
Yeah.
All right, let's put up these odds I sent you yesterday. Do you have that graphic?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Can we put it up? This is really interesting. We'll get to Coach.
Sorry.
Yeah, at the end here.
I clicked the wrong thing.
So there are your odds. If you can't read it, I'll read it to you. That's kind of my bad. I sent that to Scotty like that. So Ohio State is your favorite. Indiana is your next favorite. These are odds to win the college football national championship. Who? Alabama third. Okay. I mean, how much further away could we be from that opening loss to Florida State?
Yep.
Oregon fourth, A&M fifth, Notre Dame now back in the mix. We will ask Steve Beuerlein about that coming up shortly. Georgia Tech, right? One of Scotty's teams.
That's Georgia.
Sorry. Georgia, yeah. I'm just
Georgia Tech has plummeted off this list after losing.
Georgia and then Texas Tech. Now, okay, look at it this way, guys, and we're not a gambling show, but you bet $10, okay, to win 190 on Texas Tech. Like right now, Texas Tech, man, don't forget, like they've got the studs. If you were to take Texas Tech and put them in the SEC, I still think they will be one of the best teams in the country because of the absolute dudes they have, particularly on defense.
Pete,
yeah,
I'm going to say something that's going to hurt really, really, really bad.
Uh-huh.
And before I say this, I think Indiana's going to win it, so I'm still riding the bandwagon. But let me tell you the best bet on this board. It's not Texas Tech. It's probably Texas A&M.
You think so?
Texas A&M has not only like won all their games, they've won most of them in a dominant fashion. And yeah, plus 1,000 A&M. I think that would tempt me if I was going to bet this week. That's like that might be the best team in the country, Pete. They might be. And that hurts me to say because you know how I like to rip on that athletic department and the history. But they are good, man. Have you watched them play?
Oh, yeah.
They are good, bro.
Oh, yeah. And Mike Elko.
And I think, by the way,
Mike Elko's an amazing coach.
He is.
And by the way, I saw him on Feinbaum last week, and it made it worse because he's actually super cool. I'd never seen him interview before. I'm like, oh, man, now I really like this guy, too. I'm compromised.
The worst bets on this board, by the way, would be Notre Dame, Miami, and USC. Don't touch
Miami. I would not touch Miami.
Well, Notre Dame hasn't beat anyone good, by the way.
Yeah.
They've lost to the only two decent teams they've played.
How about Utah? Utah's on the board.
I'm just not sure Utah can get in. But, I mean, hey, Pete, I'll give you this. You suggested before the season that the Big 12 could get 3 teams in, and I thought you were smoking crack. That looks, with Utah's kind of like comeback here, that looks way more likely today than it's ever looked.
Well,
I still don't think it will happen. But if Tech, Utah, and BYU, that kind of plays out right, it would not be the craziest thing.
So you think it's possible?
I think it's way more possible today than it was preseason, yeah. I don't think it's likely.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if Utah wins out, because Utah could win out and not make the Big 12 title game. And then they're going to be ranked somewhere in that top 12, theoretically. And then BYU could beat Tech and then lose to them in the title game, or vice versa. I mean, and then what do? I mean, it's hard for me to think that they're going to be able to overcome the Big 12's not a good conference stigma, but it's not crazy. It's not crazy.
It's been a great year for the Big 12. There's no question about it. And
it has been.
I'm not just being a homer.
We need a team to get in and win a playoff game. I mean, that's how you make it a great year for the Big 12. Go beat an SEC team.
Let me ask you this one question before we go to break, because we got Steve Beuerlein coming up in about 5 minutes. How is Utah ranked above BYU on this list? Which, by the way, these lists, in my humble opinion, truthfully, this list here matters more than the top 25 as far as a reality check, because
it's both.
Half the people voting in the top 25, or at least a third, aren't even watching the games.
Correct.
There is
no.
Follow the money if you
right.
want the accuracy. This stuff right here is as accurate as you will come, because it is connected to straight cash, homie. So why is Utah ranked above BYU?
You're right. And Vegas pays a lot more attention than the AP voters. I agree with you. They're also trying to get money out of people, though. And so, I think Utah to the average American is just, I think, going to be a more tempting name to bet on than BYU. And I would also say, Pete, if you're just talking about the sports angle of it, it is a freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
And BYU is relatively unproven compared to Kyle Whittingham and this Utah program.
Yeah.
That could change in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If they go into Lubbock and win Saturday, BYU is going to shoot up this list, right?
Could you imagine?
Dude, I might bet BYU this week. We'll talk more about that this week. We need to get a guest to talk about that.
Yeah, so we do. Okay, so we got Steve Beuerlein coming up. By the way, I'm filling in. So with all the, college basketball starts today, by the way. The Baylor women's basketball team is tipping off in Paris in 25 or 34 minutes at 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's, we'll be out of your hair probably around 11:25, so you can turn that game on, or you can watch it while you're still watching us. And then tonight I'll be on the call on the radio side for the Baylor men's game, as the great John Morris will slide over to do the ESPN Plus broadcast. But Baylor, they kick it off with UT-RGV tonight, and I have I'll show you my boards later on. It's like it's a preseason, not a preseason game for me. It's a regular season game. The preseason exhibitions are over. Baylor hoops, they beat Grand Canyon, and then they lost in Indy to Indiana last weekend. And Coach Drew said that they stayed in the same hotel as they did when they won in the bubble, but they didn't have the same result. But you could tell he really didn't care. And by the way, let me play this one. You ready? J-Mo sent me this. All right. I sent it to myself so I could play it, even though John said don't play it, but it's not. He said don't play for the radio broadcast. This is Coach Drew with a message for me.
Hey, Pete, don't be nervous, but you got big shoes to fill, man. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate you.
So that's John Morris and Scott Drew, because I'm filling in for J-Mo. So I love filling in for J-Mo on the radio, because for me, radio call is a little different. You get a little bit more descriptive, and it's just I get into a rhythm, right? I prepped for this game last night. I wrote out all my notes. I'm excited to see Tunde Yesufu. I know Scotty is too. Scotty's going to the game. Scotty's a legit diehard fan. All right, Steve Beuerlein. Do you know Steve Beuerlein started 42 games for Notre Dame in like the heyday of Notre Dame football? And he started more than 100 games in the NFL. He's calling the Cowboys game tonight on Monday Night Football. And he is next on the Rogue Media Network. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Savage.
Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble does bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
The Pete Sousa Show is back. By the way, I have some bad news. Not like terribly bad news, but if you're a college basketball fan, which I am, I just saw on Twitter, One Shining Podcast is on the Ringer Sports Network, and Tate Frazier is the host, and he does an amazing job. And I just saw him tweet that, that show may not be coming, is not coming back to start the season. So that's a bummer. I'm gonna message Tate and find out. Tate's a big deal. That show's a big deal. I wonder what is going on. One thing I want to read as we get ready to preview the Cowboys. This was great because our friend of the show, Brad Sham, was tweeting, and he was actually responding. Clarence Hill put up a tweet. He said, "Hey, the Eagles have made 3 trades in a week, to try to shore up the holes. Teams should be trying to improve. Like, how come the Cowboys haven't made a trade? It's time for the Cowboys to make a trade." And Brad Sham is like, hey, Clarence, like, and we love Clarence Hill, right? But like, he's like, can you give me an example of a trade that we should make? Because right now we don't like it's easy to say that. But like, we don't have, give me an example, give me some context. And the ultimate Twitter faux pas was made yesterday by all of us. Brando fell for it. I fell for it. Somebody tweeted that Mike Loxley was getting fired. And it went crazy. And I checked him off as just another coach that had gotten fired in the college football madhouse, right? That Maryland had let him go. And it's not true. He still has his job. So be careful out there on Twitter. I just gave you two funny, one concerning about my man Tate Frazier, another one about Brad Sham that's funny, and the third one is concerning because it's like, come on, guys. Like, we can't always fall for that stuff. Concerning last night, as we're efforting Steve Beuerlein right now, but what's going on in Washington with the Commanders and Jalen Daniels is a real shame. He dislocated his elbow last night, late in the game. The team was down 31-3, I think. I mean, the best part about that game for Washington last night was their uniforms. They looked absolutely amazing. They had those old retro uniforms. But, the Commanders are getting killed, and Daniels goes back out onto the field. And, I mean, you just, like, you wonder. I understand, and I know this from, my background with football. It's like, okay, we're getting killed. We haven't had Daniels play a ton this year. These are live reps we can get with our quarterback and his offense. But at the same time, to put him in there and to put him at risk like that in a game like that, that's a blowout, to me is, I don't want to say it's like coaching malpractice, as people like to say that, but it's not a good look for Dan Quinn and the Commanders. And I think we're coming to a point. I mean, we've seen this before, but usually it's more like resentment and hasty. But like, I believe we will get to a point where a player like Jalen Daniels says to a coach at 31-3, I'm not going back in there, dude. Like, we can't win this game. I even look back to the game on Thursday night, like Tua Tagovailoa, who's got a crazy concussion history. Lamar Jackson, who's been dealing with the hamstring injury. Those guys were in the game to what I believe was far too late. But there you have it. They were out there. So it's unfortunate for what's going on right now. With the Commanders. Scotty thinks they're cursed. I mean, you go back, think about it, right? Joe Theismann, that devastating injury. Now, the Commanders, or the Redskins at the time, did come back to win another Super Bowl. A couple more, actually. So I wouldn't say that was like a death blow, but that was the end of Joe Theismann's career on a Monday night, if I'm not mistaken, in 1986. And then Alex Smith was injured basically, I think, on the same exact date in the same place on the field. And then RG3 and Daniels. So it's like, man, those are 4 monumental injuries for the Washington Redskins and then Commanders that really just kind of put your organization, they really put you in a tough spot. Because now you've got the oldest team in football by a long stretch, talking about the Commanders, and now they have to go forward, right, with question marks all around the quarterback situation, and the one place where there aren't questions of quarterback are the Dallas Cowboys, who play tonight on Monday Night Football against the Cardinals. And in their game against the Cardinals, right, and this is a bummer. We're not going to see Kyler Murray, a Louisville native. I spent the majority of my weekend in Flower Mound, and he's a kid from Louisville. And where else would he love to come play football on a Monday night than at home in Dallas? But he's going to be out of the game, and that has Jacoby Brissett starting. for the Cowboys. Now, with Brissett under center, it's still a 3.5 point number. The number is 3.5 points, which to me is surprising. I would expect that number to be higher. Dallas is averaging 41.3 points a game at home. I mean, that is a real tip of the cap to Brian Schottenheimer in the offense. And I really don't think that Schottenheimer has gotten as much credit this season as he deserves. The defense obviously needs work, but I don't think that that's something you can really put on the coaching staff, right? When you talk about the Cowboys defense having its struggles, it's similar to what we've seen at Baylor. At the end of the day, you have two guys who are geniuses coaching the defense, really, and you just don't have the dudes. And when you don't have the dudes, you can't make the plays. And that's why you get guys like Clarence Hill kind of messing around online and having, kind of lighthearted Twitter beefs with Brad Sham about making trades because, the Cowboys could use somebody else on defense, right? The Cowboys really could use somebody that could get after the passer this year. Yeah, you don't have Micah Parsons, and that's already done. But there's a lot to look at. And by the way, the number now, I look at it again, the Cowboys are favored by just 3. Remember now, the Cardinals have lost 5 straight coming into this game. And you've got Jacoby Brissett under center. So, by the way, that's a 92nd time. I know we talked about it off the top, but the 92nd time Monday Night Football is going, the Cowboys will be featured on Monday Night Football. And that's amazing. When you think about Monday Night Football started in 1970. It was funny because Christy was asking me over the weekend. She was like, hey, what would you, it's fun to have conversations like that, like dream scenario, like no limitations, right? What would you want to be doing 10 years? And to me, the lore and the luster of Monday Night Football is something that really kind of grabs me. To be able to call Monday Night Football, that is, obviously a dream for all broadcasters. But I can go back to, speaking of the Cowboys, this is before I was like super attentive and able to stay I wasn't even able to stay up that late. And I think this was maybe right after I was born. So I wasn't even on the radar as far as watching Monday Night Football. But it's Don Meredith and it's Frank Gifford and Howard Cosell, and the Cowboys are on the half-yard line, backed all the way up, right? It's one of the first games at the Dome in Minnesota, right? And Tony Dorsett takes it 99.5 yards on Monday Night Football. And it was just one of those, it was the longest run in NFL history at the time. It happened on a Monday night. The Cowboys were the most powerful, perennial, right? Like juggernaut in the NFL. And that to me is like a memory of the Cowboys, just like Dion, right? Dancing in the end zone at the Meadowlands, returning a punt and maybe an interception for a touchdown in the first or second game of the season in 1998. The Cowboys have always had a real vibe on Monday night. And tonight will be interesting because the only thing that's concerning to me about the game tonight really is the fact that somebody who knows a lot more than me has this at just a 3-point spread. All right, we got Steve? Steve Beuerlein is in the building, which is great because we will be in the building tonight at AT&T Stadium. So he joins us right now. Steve, man, 42 games, by the way, you started at Notre Dame, which is unheard of, right? 102 games started in the NFL. Nobody better to have under center for us this morning than the great Steve Beuerlein. So thank you for taking the time to join us, man.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. I'm sporting my LA Dodgers hat here too, in honor of my hometown Dodgers taking it to the full hilt. Obviously, one of the best Game 7s ever in the history of Major League Baseball. So I'm still celebrating and gloating about that.
A kid from Anaheim, and there you are. You're watching the Dodgers in that amazing game on Saturday. What's going through your head?
Well, man, just the fact that they were able to take it to a Game 7, I was so fired up. And one of the greatest series, all the ups and downs throughout that series that I can remember. And just, when everybody had counted the Dodgers out and I'm going to be honest. I was kind of doubting it there for a while myself, but that's a team of guys that know how to get it done when they need to get it done. And you got to give credit to the Blue Jays, obviously an incredible season, incredible team. But in the end, the Dodgers made the plays they needed to make to get it done. And, I grew up in L.A. actually, and then moved to Orange County when I was about 12. But my dad worked for the city of Los Angeles for his whole career. So I grew up wearing, bleeding Dodger blue. And this is one of those times where it doesn't get any better than this.
Hey, talk to me about being on a team like that where, look, man, I didn't invent baseball and I like to think I know a little about sports, but if I'm the Blue Jays and Rojas hits that home run to tie it, I'm like, oh boy, because that's just not a position. The Dodgers know how to operate in that sphere. The Blue Jays, it's new to them.
I was questioning, and I was texting my brothers and my friends saying, why do they not pinch hit for Rojas right here? I mean, that's not the guy you really want up in that situation when you really think about it. And I was really kind of upset with Dave Roberts about that, but he obviously knew more than I did and trusted him. And man, he came through big time, not only with that big home run, but some of those plays he made down the stretch in those big games. He was as vital and as key to this whole thing happened as anybody on the Dodgers.
Have you been on a team like that when it gets close and hey, we got him? Like you guys know, you just look in the eyes of your teammates, whether you're in the huddle and you're looking at the rest of your offense and you're like, we got these guys where we want them, even if you're down.
I felt that way. And the year we won the championship, the Super Bowl, when I was with the Cowboys, the 92 season, Troy was the starting quarterback. I was a backup at that time. I'd played a lot in the 91 season to finish out the year. But in 92, we had a team of guys that were ready to win a championship. And you could just tell the makeup in the locker room, the way we felt going into each game, no matter what situations came up along the course of that season, we all believed that we were going to find a way to get it done. And that doesn't happen very often. I played 17 years in the NFL and had a lot of great days, and I played on a lot of decent football teams, but there's only that one team that I really felt like we believed that we were meant to win the championship, and nothing was going to deter us from thinking that way. And sure enough, it worked out that way for us.
So you're going to serve as an analyst tonight, calling this game, Monday Night Football, right? You're not walking back into Texas Stadium, but you're walking into AT&T Stadium. There's got to be a lot of memories. What do you kind of, if there's a vibe check, what are your feelings coming back into Cowboys country? I know you've several times have called Cowboys games, but what's it like for you? And do you still have relationships and memories that go back to that Super Bowl winning team and the year before in 91 when you basically took Troy's job from him?
Well, let's not get carried away. I think if you watch the Netflix series, you can see a lot more about how that whole thing evolved. But I've been doing all Cowboys games since last year. So 2024, I was brought on by Compass Media Networks to do all the Cowboys games, national radio. And so I'm around the Cowboys every single week. It's been a frustrating run here for the Cowboys, obviously, but every game I go to, every time I walk back into AT&T, now you still see a lot of familiar faces in the organization. Every game, there's a few of the old guys hanging out, and we catch up and reminisce for sure. I get to talk to Mr. Jones during the preseason every year down at training camp in Oxnard. I get to talk to him before every game on the sidelines, and Stephen Jones and a bunch of the other guys, and we all reflect back on those great years. And I tell you what, that when you get Jerry Jones talking about those great years, you can tell what it means to him. And he gets a lot of grief from people, about the decisions that he's making and his responsibility for a lot of things that have happened over the last 20 plus years. But he wants to win, man. He talks about those glory years. He gets emotional talking about it. He wants it so badly. And, that this organization is committed to trying to find a way to get it done. You may not agree with some of the decisions they make, but everything they do is about trying to find a way to win a championship. And it's great to be back in that environment on a regular basis.
What was that like for you? I watched the documentary, and of course I watched all those years you playing for the Cowboys. And I remember when you started your career with the Raiders with Mike Shanahan, and you really did have a very good NFL career. But in 91, one of the things I took away from that documentary was, you weren't like a pushover backup quarterback. You were a starting quarterback. So that situation was pretty interesting. You were a competitor. You competed for that job. And when Troy got hurt, you took it and you did a hell of a job. What was it like emotionally for you to kind of give way to Troy and then to accept, okay, we are a juggernaut and maybe this is best for the team?
Well, I could tell from the very first time I set foot on the practice field with Troy at the beginning of that 1991 season. I got traded right before the opening game in 91 to the Cowboys from the Raiders. I could tell Troy was special. You could just see that on the field. And I knew what I was brought to the Cowboys for. Yeah, you're right. I had been in the league for 4 years. I was 1 year ahead of Troy, so I was still very young in my NFL career, but I had started quite a few games for the Raiders over the 1988 and 1989 seasons. And I believed I could play. And I knew that I was just in a bad situation with the Raiders. Mike Shanahan wanted me to be the starter. Al Davis wanted Jay Schrader to be the starter. The owner won, obviously, as he always did. Shanahan only lasted 20 games. And the reason he was fired was because he wanted to play me and Al Davis wanted to play Schrader. So I had to get out of that situation. I was looking for a chance to reestablish myself, improve myself as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And the way it worked out, coming into that Washington Redskins game with them undefeated, we were sitting at 6-5 and Troy gets hurt. And all of a sudden I'm out there with a chance to reestablish myself on a really good football team, a really good young kind of learning how to be great football team. And to have that opportunity to take the Cowboys on that run to finish the 91 season, it was a turning point in my career and really opened the door for a lot of great opportunities for me. But I never for a minute felt like I had a chance to really compete for that starting quarterback job. There were a lot of people that thought there was a quarterback controversy, but Troy shut it down pretty quickly the next season when we went on a nice run to win the Super Bowl. So I was just grateful to be a part of it and glad to get my career back on track.
It was a really cool piece of history. And then, of course, your career evolves. You end up from Arizona, Carolina. You have a lot of success. You did a hell of a job in Carolina. I want to talk present day, though. Brian Schottenheimer, because I do want to talk a little bit about your career, but I want to talk about tonight's game. How do you think Brian Schottenheimer's offense, how does Steve Beuerlein as a quarterback think he would fit in that offense? And do you think that Brian Schottenheimer is one of the reasons Dak is experiencing such great success this year?
Well, Dak had 3 12-win seasons in a row prior to last year. And I think he had established himself as an elite quarterback without a doubt by what he had done under Mike McCarthy prior to, what happened last year. And then, of course, Schottenheimer coming in and inheriting this team. I do like a lot of the things he's doing. He's gotten back to a really kind of a much more balanced mentality. And I think that's helped Dak from an offensive standpoint. Javonte Williams resurrecting his career with 8 rushing touchdowns. And I think he's averaging close to 80 yards a game rushing, which is, I think, 4th in the NFL.
4th in the NFL, yeah. He's got like 650 yards. I mean, he's doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, he's done a super job. And the Cowboys really do base everything off of that. When he's the focal point, starting the games out, they get that running game going. That opens up a lot of things for Dak in the play action game. And obviously the addition of George Pickens on the outside. When CeeDee Lamb went down, if George Pickens wasn't there, this could have gotten ugly. But George Pickens stepped up and took over that torch and became Dak's go-to guy. And now moving forward, Dak has 2 number 1 guys out there. The offense has obviously not been the issue with this football team. They're putting up over 30 points a game, and they've scored over 40 points all 3 of their home games. And so they feel really good about the offensive side of the ball. Unfortunately, you can't say the same about the defense, and that's what's really been holding back the Cowboys at this point. We'll see if they can get that turned around. But I do like the mentality. Brian Schottenheimer comes from that Schottenheimer tree. Marty Schottenheimer was always run first and stop the run. You got to start with that, and that attitude, I think, has made this Cowboys offense much more balanced, and I think better all the way around when all the guys are healthy. The problem is, when you get in a situation where you got to score 30 plus points a game to win, to have a chance to win, that's a lot of pressure on the offense.
We have a show on this network, the Rogue Media Network. It's the Doomsday Podcast with Mosley and Ed Werder. And they've talked about ad nauseum, especially Werder. You know, McCarthy always said we're going to run the ball this year, but he never really could get there. You know, and that dedication to the run has really opened things up this year. It's been cool to see. But the defense, which you touched on, is a trade imminent to get the defense better, or does the defense just have to pull it together, get better to make the playoffs?
You know, that's a great question, and it goes back to the Micah Parsons trade and what would that have meant to the Cowboys in terms of this year. It's hard for me to make an argument that trading Micah Parsons away made the Cowboys better defensively this year. You can't make that argument, and the numbers kind of speak for themselves as to how much they've struggled. They've not been able to get pressure on the quarterback on a regular basis. They've had a few games, you know, against the Jets and against a few other, you know, pretty weak teams where they've been able to show some life up front there as far as getting to the quarterback. But that trade may benefit the Cowboys down the road with the draft picks they got for it. But if Jerry Jones really was trying to make the Cowboys a legitimate NFL Super Bowl contender this year, it's hard to make the argument that trading away Micah Parsons helped the Cowboys achieve that goal. And you know, this you can spin it any way you want, and Jerry Jones is really good at that. You know, saying he sees the things that he wants to see, and there's improvement coming. But heck, we're halfway through the season, and the Cowboys are sitting where they're at, looking up at everybody, with just 3 wins against 3 average football teams: the Jets, the Giants, and the Commanders. And they haven't been able to find a way to win against quality football teams. And you know, I think this Arizona Cardinals team is a better team than people give them credit for, and they're playing better with Jacoby Brissett right now. They've found a nice little rhythm with him, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game tonight. It could be one of those, I don't want to say must-see TV, because you're not talking about 2 great football teams, but I think it's going to be a fun, exciting football game tonight.
Couple more questions for you. I know you got a busy day, but you led me to my next question. Is there sort of a chess match tonight or a storyline that people aren't talking about inside the game that could dictate the outcome?
Well, I think if you think about how close the Cardinals have been, they've lost 5 consecutive games by less than 4 points or less. So, I mean, they've lost these last 5 games by a total of 13 points. 4 of those losses have come against teams that have won 5 or more games. You're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay, and then the Indianapolis Colts. That's 4 of those 5 losses against really good football teams that they've almost had a chance, and they've actually had a lead in each of those games. So this is a better football team than I think people give credit to. Their defense has only given up 20 points a game. They're playing really consistent, really since the last 11 games of the 2024 season. They've been very, very solid and consistent defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys can attack that defense. If they don't get the run game going and they're not able to establish Javonte Williams, I think this could turn out a little bit differently than most people expect.
92nd game for the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, most all time. What's it like to play on Monday night? What especially back when you were playing, it was a little bit, there weren't as many games, you know what I mean, on TV. So it was super special. What's it like?
It's different than any other, regular season game. You've got the eyes of the whole country, the whole football world watching you, and the bright lights come on, and there's just an overall different mentality and a different sense of energy in the stadium wherever you're playing. It's a big deal, and if you can't get up for a Monday Night Football game as a player, then there's something wrong with you. You don't belong there. It's a lot of fun. I got a chance to be the starting quarterback probably, 4 or 5 times during my career on Monday Night Football, and each one of those was a great experience. And I'm jealous of these guys that get to go out there tonight and experience it themselves.
I want to ask you a little bit about your Notre Dame career before I let you out of here. You started 42 games at Notre Dame. Like, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
When you think about it, from like I don't know any other quarterback at Notre Dame. I'm sure there has been one, but I'm a pretty serious fan that's gone wire to wire like that. You played for Jerry Faust, and then you had 1 year of Lou Holtz, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What was it like playing for Jerry Faust, a guy who was a high school coach in Ohio and so charismatic, but didn't have that great success that Holtz had. What was it like playing for him?
Well, that was the frustrating part about it for me at Notre Dame. You're right. I came in, I became the starter as a true freshman 4 games into my freshman year, and the goal and the plan and the expectation was to be in the conversation for a national championship every year. We had great players. I mean, we had Tim Brown and we had Alan Pinkett, we had Mark Bavaro. We could go down the list.
Wow.
All these players that we had on our team. We should have been national championship contender each of those years, but God rest his soul, Jerry Faust. He wasn't ready for that opportunity, I don't think, and I think even he knew that by the time it was done. And as players, we thought it was just we were 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, so we didn't know any better. We were just trying to do what they were telling us to do and trying to go out there in the field and win every week. And we couldn't understand why we were underachieving. But when Lou Holtz came in, we knew immediately that things were going to get better and things were going to get changed around very quickly. And, I was fortunate and grateful to have that 1 year with Lou Holtz, even though we didn't make a run at the national championship that year. Lou Holtz gives our senior class a lot of credit for kind of setting the culture and setting the expectation and kind of paving the way for those great teams that were to come after us. And I've always been grateful to Coach Holtz, and glad he's still out there doing well. And I get to see him a couple times a year, and he's been an incredible impact on my life.
How connected are you with Notre Dame today? Are you still watching every game when you can? Do you like Marcus Freeman? Like, what's your vibe around this team and this program now?
Absolutely love Marcus Freeman. Brian Kelly leaving was the best thing that could have happened to Notre Dame. Everybody loves Marcus right now, and he's a perfect fit for it. I love the fact that he's making it very clear he has no plans to go anywhere else. I do get back. I've been getting back whenever I could over the last 10 or 15 years, a couple games a year at least. And now I actually have a daughter that's a sophomore at Notre Dame. So
no way.
I've got another built-in reason, a built-in excuse to get back whenever I can. I'll be there next week at the Navy game because the Cowboys are on their bye week. So I look forward to getting back anytime I can. It's a special place. The football didn't go the way that we wanted it to. There was a lot of dark days there during those Faust years, and the bottom line is that though Notre Dame is it means a lot more than just the football, and it's about a lot more than just the football. And I wouldn't trade my experience for anything.
Last question for you. What do you make of all these coaches, college coaches, getting let go? So many before we turn the page to November. It's like the Wild West, man.
Well, it's pro football now, right? I mean, it's a different world. The money is so big, and the pressure is so immense on these coaches to get these programs headed in the right direction. And they're just not going to have the patience that they may have had in years past. And I don't like what's happened to college football. I don't like what the NIL and the transfer portal has brought to college football. I think it's really just changed the landscape in a negative way. From my perspective, the way I look back at what it used to be, what it should be all about, but it is what it is. Pandora's box is open, and that's the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. These coaches know it. They signed the big contracts. They know they've got the golden parachute with the buyouts in their contracts, but I'm not saying that they take security in that, but they know that the expectation is there, and if they don't get it turned around quick, they're going to be getting paid to watch, and that's not what any of them want. These coaches all want to be a part of it. They want to build a championship program. That's what they go to those schools for, with those big contracts. And when they come up short, they got to pay the piper, at the backside.
All right, Steve Beuerlein, man, thank you so much for taking the time, dude. Have a great call tonight, and we really appreciate you spending some time with us.
You got it, my man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. There he goes, Steve Beuerlein. Man, I'm telling you, that guy was a big part of my evolution as a football fan. And of course, when I was playing football in college, like, Beuerlein was always a guy who he was kind of like a household name. And maybe it was because of playing for the brand of Notre Dame and then playing for the brand of the Raiders and then the brand of the Cowboys. He fit perfectly in that whole realm because he was just a primetime dude. So it's cool that he's back calling Cowboys games on a national level. And by the way, what does that say about the Cowboys? That they have a national radio broadcast for every game. That's really all you need to know about the star and the brand. All right, we'll step aside, come back. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. We're going to take a walk down memory lane, a kind of a somber tone here a little bit. We want to honor a fallen Baylor great when we come back. Scotty Swingler is going to take us through that. Don't go anywhere.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullwellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at GEVI.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code SOUSA to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code SOUSA. That's SOUSA. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_8HTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Welcome back, Pete Sousa Show.
Hold on, Scotty. Oh, that's right. You're going to do your underdog. Go ahead. Do your underdog.
Take two. Welcome back, Pete Sousa Show. Just trying to do my job over here while Pete messes around on the other side of the studio. Listen, underdog's not just something we advertise. I play it just about every day. And college basketball coming back in a big way tonight. I will be at the Baylor game hosting UT Rio Grande Valley. Unfortunately, not available on Underdog today. Otherwise, I would have taken some hires on some Baylor players. So let me show you what I got. Some Monday Night Football picks and a college basketball pick that's going to make some of my fellow Baylor fans.
Hey, put your mic on. Your mic isn't on. Liz, can you do it? It is?
Oh, no, it's not. You're right.
Liz, can you do it for him?
Four. Man, this promo is going great.
Dude, Chris Visser on it. Go ahead.
He's always on it.
Yeah, it's our guy.
As I was saying, here are my underdog picks for this evening. Rob Wright.
Ooh.
Making his BYU debut. Give me higher
Traitor,
than 4.5 assists. That guy is just surrounded by scorers, and he is a true playmaker. Higher than 4.5 assists for Rob Wright against Pete's Villanova Wildcats
it's
tonight.
The debut of my guy.
Javonte Williams. How is this only 66.5 rushing yards right now on Underdog? That is the steal of the week. Higher. That dude will rush for 100 yards tonight against Arizona. I have very little doubt. And then Jacoby Brissett. Listen, quarterbacks this season are having career games against the Dallas Cowboys, including New York Giants backup Russell Wilson. You know Jacoby Brissett's going to throw for like 500 yards, but he's definitely going to throw for higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Those are my picks. If you want to win some money, pick with me. Use that promo code Sousa. You'll get some bonus cash with your first deposit just to play for free. Okay, Pete. Now that we've embarrassed ourselves with our Monday, it's a case of the Mondays on the underdog promo here.
Well, we want to show. Look, I want to show. These are my. You can't see it because it's too bright. But these are my boards for the Baylor game tonight. I promise it's not blank. I mean, God, how can I get this? Can I get you to see that? There you go. Right, ignore my face. So that's all the chicken scratch, right? Like I said, I wanted
the life of a play-by-play.
I wanted to physically write them out tonight, just because it was my first game, first basketball game of the season. But I'm excited to see this Baylor team. I'm really excited to see Tunde Yesufu during media days when I was there for NBC. Tunde sat down with us and talked to us about his life and growing up. I mean, he grew up in West Africa, basically on the coast, like, you know, where soccer was the order of the day. I mean, obviously not basketball. And that dude swears that right now he's a better soccer player than he is a basketball player. And that
my kind of guy.
Yeah, and that he's been invited to play on national teams in Africa. But this guy is, you want to talk when we go to these seminars, whether it's NBC or ESPN, and Steve Beuerlein just mentioned it, right? Like must-see TV. Dude, this guy Tunde Yesufu, it's quite possible he is must-see TV. So I cannot wait to see him tonight. I know, let me see. He had 2 steals against Grand Canyon in the first exhibition, where he shot 5 of 9 from 3 and had 21 points. This dude is a born scorer, broke state records playing hoops in California.
Yeah, not just state records, but in the most populated state in America.
Yeah, totally. Playing some of the best basketball. I mean, he basically was playing. I know his team beat Sierra Canyon. Obviously, we know how good they are. That's where the Bronx kids went. So just like an amazing player. So I'm so excited for that. And also Caden Powell. He's a guy who's come home. A Waco Midway guy. Be cool to see him play tonight, especially in some of these early games where, you know, there'll be some shellackings. As far as Baylor is concerned in their schedule, let's take a look. Well, let's just stick to the basics for right now. Let's focus on tonight, because Scotty has something important that he wants to get to. And I will turn the reins over to you. We had a death in the family as far as Baylor folks are concerned. And as I mentioned, I'm late to the party with this whole Baylor thing, right? Like I adore Baylor. I moved to Waco in 2017, and I've been here kind of on and off ever since. And I love it here, and I love Baylor and their athletic programs. There's just something special about it. But Scotty hit me to a fact. I saw that the track coach, right, had passed away. I had no clue how legendary this guy was. I saw a post from Nikki Collin that said on her first day, where she was full of insecurities and indecision, that this guy, Clyde Hart, walked into her office and relieved her of a lot of that just by having a heart-to-heart with her and welcoming her to school. And the accolades, Scotty, more so maybe the same personally, but on the track as well, right? I mean, this guy was amazing.
Pete, you'd be hard-pressed to make a Mount Rushmore of Baylor athletics figures and not include Clyde Hart. You'd be hard-pressed to create a Mount Rushmore of United States track and field coaches and not include Clyde Hart. And you'd be hard-pressed to create a Mount Rushmore of United States all-time track runners and not include Michael Johnson.
Yeah, so this guy was Michael Johnson's coach, right?
Correct. So let me just read a few of the accolades here, and then I'm going to tell a personal story because we like to do that on this show, and I'll try to not just wax poetic for way too long. But Hart was a school record 100-yard and 220-yard sprinter at Baylor, class of 1956.
So he went to Baylor. Okay.
Came back in 1963 to become the head track and field coach at the age of 28.
Wow.
He held that position for 42 years until 2005, at which point he became the director of track and field at Baylor and continued coaching one event, and that would be the quarter mile. Baylor, under his tenure, earned the nickname Quarter Mile U, and here's why. He coached 34 national champions and more than 500 All-American performances, 10 world record performances, and 9 NCAA records in his tenure as a track coach. In 6 straight Olympics, athletes coached by Clyde Hart medaled. Most famously, Michael Johnson, who, of course, won lots of Olympic golds and set 2 world records. One that just got broken by Usain Bolt a few years ago, the 200. I believe he still holds the record for the 400. Am I crazy about that? I don't think his 400-meter record has been broken yet. Now I got to know Coach Hart, Pete. Here, I got a couple photos here.
Ooh.
Sorry, I wasn't fully prepared. Here's Coach Hart and Michael Johnson at Baylor. I got to know Coach Hart. I'm 5'7" for those that haven't met me in person.
I think you're taller than that.
So the two sports, and that's really kind of you to say, but I'm not. The two sports that I was somewhat equipped to be good at and was okay at as a kid and growing up were soccer and track and field, because you don't have to be particularly tall to play those sports. This last night as we were talking about Coach Hart. Jeremy Warner, I'll throw up his picture next, won gold in the 2004 Olympics, the open 400-meter race. He was a Baylor student at the time. He just won the NCAA outdoor championship, and then he won gold at the Olympics. By the way, his teammate Darrell Williamson was on the 4x4 team that year that won gold as well. So Coach Hart was personally coaching 2 of the 4x4 athletes on that 2004 team that won gold. But Jeremy was a hero of mine because he looked like me and he won a gold medal in the Olympics and he was a Baylor Bear. And I went to a track meet at Baylor the following spring after he won gold in the Olympics. And my dad pointed out Clyde Hart setting cones around turn 1.
Wow.
And having Jeremy Warner run turn 1 over and over and over. And my dad had to remind me, because I didn't have a super vivid memory of this. He said, you were 12 and you could not understand why a dude that had just won the Olympic gold was listening to this old guy on how to run a turn in the 400 meter that he is the best in the world at. By the way, no shade at Jeremy Warner. In 2008, Pete, Jeremy Warner decided to no longer continue with Coach Hart as his personal coach. He had won every major event in the 400 to that point. He did not win another major 400 meter after he let Coach Hart go.
Wow.
He got silver in the Olympics that year. And that's not any shade. It's just kind of adding to the legend of Michael Johnson, Jeremy Warner, Baylor as a program. I think the last thing I'll say, track and field is not this thrilling, exciting team sport that looks great on TV, that America watches en masse. It's not that. But there's something so primal about it, right? We've been running races against other humans for thousands of years. I've always said I think Usain Bolt is probably the most insane athlete I've ever seen, just because it is that primal, I am faster than every other human being on the planet. There's something so cool about that to me.
Yeah.
And no one made an impact in that world over the last century more so as a coach perhaps than Clyde Hart. So
I can connect to that a little bit too. Growing up in Villanova, there was the track coach was this guy Jumbo Elliott, and there's a statue of him on the track at Villanova. They won so many, NCAA championships, and this dude Sidney Marie and Vicky Huber, they both ran at the Olympics. Nobody like Michael Johnson. I mean, that's like a one of one, right?
Sure.
But yeah, it's kind of a special deal, and I know that a lot of folks around Baylor are hurting this morning. What was he? He was 91 years of age, I think, right?
Yes, 91.
Yeah. So that's a good life.
And now you mentioned the statue. There is a monument to Coach Hart. It's a bust at the track and field complex at Baylor that's named after him. And it wouldn't shock me if they do the whole blown. There's a statue of Grant Taff on campus. It wouldn't surprise me if Coach Hart has one go up here too.
Well, speaking of Baylor greats, one more thing before we leave. RG3. Okay. This is pretty interesting because, Robert has been
another statue on campus.
Yeah. Another statue. Yeah. I think I said that, didn't I?
You said Baylor greats.
RG3 statue. Yeah. So there has been a lot of RG3 talk when you connect to Jalen Daniels and all of his injuries. And Robert was on TikTok last night after the injury. And here's what he said, something that got a lot of traction. Just watch Jalen Daniels get hurt. In this game with 7 minutes left, down 38-7. I was wrong. I said 31-3. And my first thought is, why is he still in the game? With the injuries he's had, this is why I wanted them to hold him out until after the bye week. Let's get him fully healthy. So RG3 just kind of parachuting in. And Dan Quinn said after the game, obviously in hindsight, you don't want to think that way, where an injury could take place. This is what he told reporters after the game. Obviously, we're more conservative in that spot to run and hand off and not have reads to go, but just the end result. Obviously, I'm bummed because I guess that was like a read option where he got hurt, Scotty. I did not actually see it.
Yeah, he was running with the football.
Yeah, okay. And so a lot of people, Scott Van Pelt, why is he in the game? The malpractice having him out there. Washington-based host Kevin Sheenan said. And this is the last one I'll read. Down 31 with 8 minutes left and already hampered with an already hampered quarterback. Why is Jaden Daniels still in the game? Daniels, this is what Emmanuel Acho posted on X. Praying for the young man. It's been a hard year for him in Washington. What do you think about that, Scotty? Should he have, hands down, not been in the game? I like to think one reporter asked Dan Quinn the question after the game I heard this morning, and it was so well done. He was like, look, I ask you this question with the most respect, but I got to ask it. Why is he still out there? And Dan Quinn didn't really have an answer. That was that.
The competitor in all of us, and I'm sure the competitor in Daniels wants the guy to be out there. But I think it is your job. And by the way, this is why I think the leadership in Washington deserved some criticism when Robert got hurt. And that's why it's so personal for Robert, right? Your athlete is going to want to play. Like with very few exceptions, most athletes who make to that level are so competitive and so talented. They want to be out there every second. I mean, that's why you're there. You're there to play. So it is your job as a coach and the leader to say, no, I'm going to protect you from yourself here and not let you play. And so it's not, I don't think Dan Quinn's like crazy for it, but I also look at it and you're like, he has struggled this season with some nagging things. He's not fully healthy. You're not going to win that game down by that much with that little time to go. It's not a playoff game. It's not like you're selling out to win this game. So yeah, I mean, it's easy in hindsight, but it's fair to ask the question, I think. I think coaches need to see it as their responsibility. It's kind of like, here's an analogy for you. Like, I've got a daughter. She's about to turn 17 months old. It's my job as her dad, when she's like, I want this, to say, yeah, okay, that's fine. Or, you know what, sweetie, that's not okay right now.
That's good comparison.
Your players, these professional, these guys are such competitors. They've made it to this level. Of course, Daniel's will be like, I'm fine, coach. I want to be out there. I want to be out there. I know we're down big, but I'm going to lead the team. And by the way, that's great. It's your job to say, hey, not today. Not today. Like, we're going to protect you from yourself here. But like I told you, and I heard you talking about this, I was talking on the phone to Chris Visser. It is eerie, man, the parallels between the Smith and the Theismann injuries, and then the parallels on the night that the Commanders are wearing the throwback colors on the uniforms in the exact same spot where Robert got hurt. Kind of eerie, man.
It is
kind of eerie. And I wish the best for Daniels, for sure.
And Robert, I think one thing that we forget about is that he was so good his rookie year.
Rookie of the year.
He was not, by no means was he a bust. Literally, that injury screwed him up.
Yes.
And, and even, Robert was not, a lot of things, and still is, he was not soft. I mean, his first game with the Browns against the Eagles, he lowers his shoulder and gets hurt.
He was unafraid of contact to his own detriment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was another guy who maybe that at the time Redskins organization could have helped out. All right, we're back tomorrow. We've got Michelle Beadle scheduled. We know she's a busy woman, so we're crossing our fingers, but I think that will work out. Rich Podolsky on Wednesday talking to us about his John Madden and Pat Summerall book. I heard him last week on Mad Dog with Chris Russo, and he was really, really good. Chris Russo had Podolsky on for about an hour. We won't keep him for that long, but it's an amazing book that he's written. I cannot wait to read it about Madden and Summerall. Certainly seems amazing. I haven't read it yet. Then Spencer Tillman on Thursday, and we might get you lined up for some college hoops on Friday. I think I want to reach out to my man Paul Biancardi to have him talk to us about this star-studded freshman class in the Big 12 that we're going to see two players tonight. AJ DeBonsta against Villanova, and the DeBonsta-Villanova game, that's going to be prime time. That's real hardcore competition. And then Tunde Yesufu tonight against RTGV. That is all for us. We'll be back tomorrow. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Savagix. Have a great rest of your Monday.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.